Welcome to the 2012 Spring Athletic Awards Night. Just a couple of things before we get going. Thank you to the boosters for supplying the pizza and the sodas. Can we have a round of applause? I said this before, but without them, listen up. Without them, we would not be sponsoring JV athletics for boys and girls, freshman athletics for boys and girls. So they're the people that hit the pavements, they do the fundraising, they do the door-to-door drives. They are collecting, $50,000 to keep your sons and daughter in sports here at Abington High School. So can we have another round of applause for this? Parents that support your sons and daughters throughout the spring. You go to away games, you go to home games, you're cheering, hooting and hollering for them. Without you, they wouldn't be able to pay the user fee. They wouldn't get all that stuff, the equipment and all that stuff that you guys buy for them. Make sure you thank your parents when you go home, because without them, they would be picking you up and making alternative plans for dinners and stuff like that. So thank you. Coaches, thank you for all the time and effort you put in. I know it's a thankless job, all the hours and the weekends and the long bus rides down the Cape. So I've got a fantastic group of coaches that I don't have to worry about everything. I know they're going to do the right thing, the ethical thing. So thank you there. Highway, Mr. Serino, my contact person for the highway. So the highway is. This great in years. They mowed them, they cut them, they lined them. Even yesterday, I went down at 1 o'clock to look at the softball field, and I talked to Mrs. Serena. I said, "There's no way we're going to have an MIA tournament game here at 1 o'clock." And there was 9 guys down there within 15 minutes working on the field. By 2:30, we had a fantastic game yesterday. And the last people I wanted to thank the student athletes, 2 guys. This is why I got into the job, to work with fantastic young people on and off the field and in the classroom. And you guys make my job stressful at times, but it's such an enjoyable thing to do, to work with you guys. So give yourself a round of applause. I'd like to thank all the other people behind the scenes. I can't mention, I'd be listing 25, 30 people, but you know who you are behind the scenes doing all the little things to make this spring an enjoyable season, a very successful season here at Abington High School. Let's start off. The first group that I want to mention, and look at the banner in the fall, I ordered it a couple of weeks ago, is the 2012 South Shore League softball champions. A couple of hours ago, they'll either play Friday or Saturday. It all depends on the game. Abington versus Coyle tomorrow. They play tomorrow, so look on the website. We'll have it up tomorrow night. She'll let us know. But fantastic season. A couple other people I'd like to publicly acknowledge. We had 2 people make the state finals in track. That's the best of the best in the state of Massachusetts. Not an easy thing to do. The first person, Emily Atkinson. Unbelievable individual accomplishments there. Found out this morning at my athletic director's meeting that we won the 2011-2012 Social League Sportsmanship Award. Every individual sport before season, the coaches and the players sit down and you rank the top 3. So the top team gets 3 points, second place gets 2, third place gets 1, and they tally that up for the entire 2011-2012 season, and we had the highest score. And I know some people always think that that goes to the teams that, you know, don't do well, or, you know, it's a sympathy vote, stuff like that. But we had girls basketball won it, lacrosse teams came in first place, you know, track got votes, football got votes. So that's something that you guys, listen, hey, that's something that, you know, comes back on you. The coaches and other players and all the other 8 schools think of Abington and how they compete and play in between the lines. So thank you for that. Next 2 people I would like to acknowledge. They got their awards a couple of weeks ago at a dinner, but the Social League has started a Scholar Athlete Award, and we acknowledge the top 2 seniors that have the highest GPA and that compete in 2 or more varsity sports. Our recipients this year for the males was Jake Concan. Can the boosters come up? Their varsity jackets tonight. Once again, thank you for the boosters for supplying the varsity jackets through the fundraising efforts of them and the people of Abington. First person I'd like to call is Lauren Landis. Great job, Lauren. Kevin Buds up. Jack Malfronte. Tyler Praxis. And Ryan Mariano. Here at Abington, 15 individuals that were voted to their Social League All-Stars in particular sports. In order to become a Social League All-Star, you have to be nominated by your coach, and then the other 8 or 9 coaches in the league would vote, okay, and put you on this team. Very difficult thing to get on because of the talent in the Social League. So those 15 should be proud of their accomplishments in their individual particular sports. Can I have the coaches come up? They're going to present their Social League All-Stars.
In baseball, Tyler Price.
Boys across, Tim Ferguson. Captain Crosby. And Barry Catherine.
Boys track, Kevin Whalen. David Banzo. And girls track, Amanda Lane. And Emily Adams.
I heard that there's 15, it's a quarter of all South Shore League softball all-stars. First, Stephanie Cornish. Haley Rogers. Jill Morella. Alex Power. Kelly Gordon.
Before we get to the slideshow, President of the Boosters, Mr. Stagel, would like to say a few words. Mr. Stagel?
Big crowd, not used to this size crowd here. Nice job. Congratulations, guys. First, the All-Stars, you guys are just up there. Congratulations. Give yourselves a round of applause. Girls softball, unbelievable season. Congratulations, all of them. Tremendous games last two nights. Back-to-back games. You're going to play again tomorrow night, I think. What you said? Friday night. Congratulations, give yourselves a round of applause. I don't know if it's more important or less important, but for us as boosters and for us as parents, the sportsmanship award that Abington High School gets, that's nothing to take lightly. guys are true ladies and gentlemen out on the floor, and on the field, and on the court. Congratulations to yourselves. I just have a few people that I want to thank. I promise I'll be relatively brief. We'll get to the slideshow. I know that's way better than me up here. I'm going to talk about 4 different people, and they can come up whenever they want. At the end is okay, at the beginning is all right too. I'm going to start with Norm Casey and Bill Davis. Someone else has got a video while Bill comes down off the first. Last year I gave a long speech about these two men, their tireless efforts to film football, basketball, girls and boys, hockey, and baseball. I didn't think I had much more to say in the way of thanking these two guys. And then Bill comes up to us at one of the boys basketball games and asked if we thought it was okay if he filmed the girls basketball program. We didn't hesitate. Norm and Billy, Casey, and I said, thank you for putting the girls basketball program on cable. The rest is history. You guys rose to a championship girls basketball players wherever you are. What a great run that was. Thank you, Mr. Davis, for stepping forward. Mr. Ryan back there. Mr. Gomes. Who else was doing it with you both? Put you on the spot. It doesn't matter.
Mark Foley.
Mark Foley.
Donnie,
Stepped
yeah.
in once or twice. But again, Mr. Davis, who was doing the boys' games with Mr. Casely, he thought it was important. He stepped up and he took care of it. Baseball games being showed now are not only being taped by Bill, but he also does the announcing all by himself. For those of you that think you can multitask, seriously multitask, stand behind Bill when he's filming, announcing, and scoring on the little tiny table beside him. He gets it done. He'll teach you a lesson or two. He's the man when it comes to that stuff, trust me. Norm Casey. Norm's been the go-to man for taping AHS athletics for years. He's still filming for football, the on-field camera, and the slow-mo replays that you guys see and love. He edits all that on his own time. He does commentating when whoever can't show up. Usually it's me, because Billy's riding with him, and I have issues at work. So Norm steps up to do it. He's also the man with the earphones, no microphone, when Billy and I are talking during the basketball games, and he's more than happy to point out when Billy and I screw up. Laughs at us in the background, kicks us in the back when we mess up. It's good fun. I just want you to know that although he's also doing hockey as well. So think about that: football, hockey, and basketball. All those games, home and away. Home and away. I'm a parent. I've had 3 kids come to Abington High School. I'll be honest, I haven't been to every away game. Mr. Casely, every away game. Every away game. These guys provide the service for the community. The stuff that parents dream of. Seeing your child on TV and someone calling out his or her name for that brief moment. That is priceless as a parent. Parents, raise your hand. You hear your kid on TV, your kid's name on TV? Come on. Come on. It's priceless. Trust me, been there, done that. Students, someday you'll get a chance to look back on these films and realize how lucky you were. These 2 guys took the time to volunteer so many hours to get that job done for you. Towns that have bigger student body populations, bigger communities, and bigger budgets wish they had volunteers like this. And announcers like Bo and Scott and those guys who do those games. You can go to any town, coaches, Mr. Serino, Mr. Beatrice, Mr. Moore, they'll tell you. Other towns don't have that stuff. That's a lucky thing. It's good for you guys, that's good for the community. So, we are blessed to have them in our town. And as such, Norman Bill, for all that you've done and continue to do for the community of Abington, the students of Abington, and the Green Wave Boosters, please accept these gifts as a token of our appreciation. Okay, that's the hardest part. This is a female that has no idea that I'm going to call her up here. And last night at our last Boosters meeting, saying goodbye was not easy. So, Amy, I know you hear something. Amy Norton. Okay. So she composes herself, she can look this way. Personal for me. Okay, I met Amy Norton at the softball field behind the ECC moons ago. Kelly was tiny. John was right behind her, coaching his heart out with her. We talked a bunch back then. She was just a person from Abington that I met. Very shortly after that, I realized, or Amy probably put the two and two together, that her college roommate was someone that I went to high school with, and we hit it off. That's got to be, what, 8 years ago anyway? Small world, and a friendship formed. Fast forward to now, Amy and I have been at youth soccer games, softball games, school events, and volunteering for all kinds of things together. She was always there, willing to lend a hand, and always smile. Smile? All right. She was ever present as a 50-50 rapid person at the football and basketball games, showing a presence during the girls' soccer and basketball basketball nights to bring awareness to breast cancer. Huge. She is as dedicated to the students of Abington as anyone. She's a tireless volunteer and simply a wonderful woman. She has elected to get off the Boosters. I'm sad, but as promised, she will not she'll still help out with 50. As heard, it's on tape, Bill's done. Amy, for all you've done for the students of Abington High School, and for all you've done for the Boosters, please accept this token as a sign of our appreciation. Every year when there's blooms, may you think of all the students you've helped. Some of you may know, some of you may not. I did this all off the top of my head, Mike, so if I mess up, I'm sorry. Abington Youth Soccer Board. For those of you who played Abington Youth Soccer, Mike was on the board for 20 plus years. Certified umpire. He has been an umpire for Abington Little League, I guess, in 10 plus years. Coach in AYBA basketball. He was a coach of the Abington Waves basketball, one of the teams. I think Danielle might have played for him. Abington Youth Soccer as a coach. He was a spring travel coach. Probably something else like that. But he also took, I believe, what year? 2007 state championship. Danielle, did you play on that team too? All right. And I think he was a runner Abington High School School Council for 2 years. Greenway Booster Secretary 2 years. Abington School Committee, duly elected. He will be the liaison to the boosters and for the school committee. All of these are volunteer positions for us. This is an amazing guy who does a lot for the community. Dedication and commitment to Abington Youth Sports, Abington High School Sports, and Abington High School Academics. Not much more to say about Mike. He's been the booster secretary for the past 2 years. At times, that job pales in comparison to the other responsibilities that he has. Through all that, Mike never had a negative statement or thought. But what can I do attitude to help? What can I do to help attitude? Always present, always there, no matter when you saw him. He was always looking out for your best interest, regardless of whether he was a coach or whether he was a member of the school council or a member of the boosters. So Mike, on behalf of the boosters, please accept this gift as a token of our appreciation for all that you've done for the town, the school, the sport program, and Abington. All right, Steve Wakeman, come on up. I'm killing you already? Oh, I'm not killing you yet, am I? Thank you. What's that? Is that Ryan Salem? All right. It is no secret that Mr. Wakeman and I are good friends, in case any of you are wondering, especially the parents. So I promise this will be short and sweet. Like Mike, I feel it's necessary to give you some history of what Steve has done for the town of Abington and for the students of Abington High School. AYBA coach. He was a Waves Travel basketball coach. Abington Little League. He was a coach. Williamsport team coach. For those of you that don't know, most of you know, right? 13 years old. Travel Williamsport. I don't think you made it to Williamsport. Close enough. First round. Abington Education Foundation. President. Any year, how many? 7 years. For those of you that have teachers in your family, his organization was the one that was giving grants out to the teachers throughout the school to get the stuff done so that you guys have a better experience in the class. Abington Park and Rec Commission, chairman until April. Just gave it up. Strawberry Valley Golf Club board member, now as the chairman, as of tonight. Abington Greenway Boosters, treasurer. 4 years, about 6 years, 4 years. Abington High School football, chain gang. Saved the best. Seriously, like Mike and everyone being thanked here, it's all about giving back. Trying to make the town of Abington, the youth of Abington, the parks of Abington, the schools of Abington, and the sports program at Abington High School better. Okay, that's huge for volunteers. Selflessly giving and asking for nothing in return. That's the true definition of volunteer. Doing the right thing, not because it's popular, but because it's right. You all heard that before. It is a fact. Giving back because someone or something needs assistance, most times completely out of the limelight and anonymous. Again, giving and asking nothing in return. Students, listen up. You're looking for a role model? Right there. Person to emulate, someone to look up to, that has all the qualities that society is looking for today. Look no further than Steve Wakeman. For all you've done for the community, the students, the school, and the sports programs here at Abington High School. On behalf of the boosters, please accept this gift as a sign of our appreciation.
because of the parents and the volunteers, the people that give without asking anything in return. So, like I said, I've been in 7 communities, and we don't get that in other communities where it's a close-knit community that are willing to go the extra mile for you guys. Yeah, you guys. So we'll give another round of applause. for individual award ceremonies, I'd like to thank Mrs. Curran. Round of applause. And others for putting that together. Individual team awards, boys in track, boys and girls track are going to stay here. Baseball, you know, we have 202, softball, 203, girls lacrosse 104, boys lacrosse 106, tennis 205,
17, so it was 18. At the time, we did not know we were only going to play 18 games, but as the year went on, they stuck to it, and they still wanted to win the 18 games, and they were able to do it. We outscored our opponents 151 to 35 throughout the season, which is an average margin of victory of almost 7 runs a game. But we did win 5 one-run games, so we showed that we could win by a lot, and we could win close games, including some very close games where we had to have guys come in relief in the 7th inning, and all 3 times that we had to do that, the tying run was on base, and all 3 times they got out of it, which I think was impressive. A couple people I just want to thank real quick. I know everybody else has the boosters. Literally, we would not have a team without them. The highway department, the field for JV field for a couple games this year, it looked like a varsity field, which was nice. The parents, I know most of the kids on the JV team do not drive, and I don't really give times when practices end, so I know that can be frustrating on a parent's end, so I appreciate your patience in always getting them there. And then of course Coach Pratzos for always helping me out, Mr. Moore, and the guys on the varsity team, because you guys keep me involved, keep me interested. And especially the 2 seniors, you guys were with me my first year. We had some good times. Timmy down at JV, CJ came down once and had some fun. And I wish you guys best of luck. So just to bring up a couple guys. First guy I'm going to bring up, at the end, all the guys on the JV team, you can pick up a sheet where we have everybody's stats, both hitting and pitching. And it gives every possible stat you could imagine. I even had to cut about 15 stats out so I could fit it on a page. And we would not have any of that if it wasn't for this guy. He volunteered, asked me if he could do this, and he came to every single game and figured out things on the iPad that we didn't really know were possible. And when we didn't know what to do, he would figure it out on his own. And I know these guys love, especially Aiden, love looking at their stats. So Colt McGrath. I think he had a little bit of a frustrating season. It took him a while to get going, but by the end of the year, he was swinging the bat pretty well. He was consistently our second leadoff guy, which I love having someone hitting 9th or 10th in JV, that can do this for us. And he caught everything in the outfield, had to move around, play different positions. And Brian Solomon. Next guy came in and did a little bit of everything when we needed him to. He had a huge game for us in Spellman, which was one of the one-run games that we had. I believe he was on base 3 times that game. He got our offense going with a perfectly executed safety squeeze, and he ended up getting to second and then coming around and scoring on the next hitter. And he did the little things all year long whenever he got in. You could always count on him to do what we needed. John Kearns. Next guy is not here, Cole Jansen. He was a little banged up, but he certainly, he actually had the highest average on the team in a smaller sample size. But he had a fishing accident and missed a fair amount of the season. But he can swing the bat, and I look forward to seeing him healthy in the future. Next guy, I think, will admit he was frustrated at times. I think he was harder on himself than anyone else. I never worried about him. I penciled him in the 5 or 6 spot in the batting order every time and never thought twice about it. He has high expectations for himself. I thought he did a phenomenal job. He hit almost 300, made every single play in the field, and you never had to worry about complaining or doing anything. He showed up and worked hard every day. James Landers. Next guy was our center fielder, and he caught everything. Towards the end of the year, he went on a streak where he just decided to throw guys out of nowhere. He threw 2 guys out at the plate, threw a couple guys out second and third. And on top of that, he moved around the order. He hit leadoff sometimes, he hit 5th, he hit towards the bottom, and he produced everywhere he went. He had a pretty impressive streak going until I think it was his last at bat of the season. He had not struck out, and he was very proud of that, but I think he talked about it a little bit too much. And his last at bat he struck out, but that's the only time he struck out all season, which is impressive, and he's going to be a phenomenal center fielder for Coach someday. Aiden Collins. This next guy was a freshman that ended up having to do a lot more than we expected due to an injury, and he produced. He had the highest batting average with runners in scoring position. He hit over 500 runners in scoring position. Was in the top 5 on the team in RBIs, and he came up with big hit after big hit, and there's no doubt that he can swing the bat, and I think down the road he's going to be a very good baseball player. Brian O'Donnell. Next guy, he was tied for the lead in steals. He came a long way from where he was last year as a player, and he played the outfield, transitioned. He was an infielder last year and did a great job for Alex Tempesta. Next guy played shortstop for us, and aside from his 4-error game, he was pretty solid out there. He also came in and pitched for us. He pitched phenomenally. It was just unfortunate that the two guys who pitched ahead of him also did phenomenal. He pitched in 4 games, 3 starts, got 3 wins, and the other one he had to come in with the game on the line and got the save. No problem. He was a freshman for us last year who I think was a little frustrated at the lack of time he got, deservedly so, and this year he came out and he proved his worth. That's Vinny Picardi. Our next guy, unfortunately, only played in a few games for us, but he was playing very well before he got hurt. He taught us all an important lesson that we should slide back into bases so we don't break our jaw. But a lot of guys getting hurt that early in the season would have just packed it in and said, see you later, I'll come out next year or show up once in a while. He showed up to every game, took the bus to every game, and he wasn't just there, he was coaching bases, he was helping out on the iPad, and he kind of took Brian under his wing at third base and helped him out the best he could defensively, put him in position, and we would not have been anywhere as good as we were if he had not stuck around. It says a lot about him. Sean O'Brien. Next guy's not here, but he stepped in for us late after we had some rainouts and we had to play a bunch of games in a week. I still thought we were going to be good pitching with our 3 guys because it was spread out, but one of those 3 guys got sick, and Mike Donner stepped right up for us, and he pitched without having thrown much all year. Pitched into the 6th inning and got us a big win. He's the ultimate teammate and just a great guy to have on the team, Mike Donner. This guy was our leadoff hitter. Didn't really know where to put him throughout the year, but ended up putting him at leadoff. And he led the team in 4 statistical categories, which I think is pretty impressive. One of them being home runs, one of them being on base percentage. He kind of did it all. He stole bases. He came up with big hit after big hit to get us going, and he was steady in the field. Only made 1 mistake that I can remember. But other than that, he was our leader in terms of what he did and how he produced, and he even stepped up and pitched an inning for us end of the year when we needed it. Joe Morrell. Then I got 3 guys left. 2 of them are actually going to get varsity certificates for what they did. But the last 3 guys I kind of grouped together as our clear leaders of the team. Jake Quinlan, Scott Jansen, and Matt Whalen. I look at Matt and Scott, and that's the reason we were successful with everybody else, but they kind of showed us the way. For those of you who are familiar with baseball, during batting practice, there's the bucket. And nobody likes to do the bucket. It's a terrible job. Usually you have to remind people. I've been on teams where literally there have been fist fights because people had issues with the bucket. And usually it takes a coach telling someone to get on it. And about halfway through the year, we were 6-7-0, and we were practicing, and I didn't have to say one thing about the bucket. And the 2 guys that were on the bucket the entire practice were Matt and Scott, who statistically are our 2 best players. And they hit 3-4, our pitcher, our catcher, and nobody asked them to do it, nobody told them to do it, and that's the way they carried themselves all year. And that is why we were able to win 18 games. In the past, last year, we started out 9-0, but we didn't have leadership like that, which kept us focused and kept us going. So my coach is going to call those guys up, but I want to acknowledge Matt Whalen, Scott Jansen, and Jake Quinlan. Sorry, a little long-winded.
Okay, as most of you know, we finished 9-11 this year, 1 game short. We had our streak ended of making the tournament, for which we will start a new one next year. I was talking today with C.J. Hillier, who is a classmate of Peter. He's out in California right now, and he was talking to him. I was telling him about the season. And his sophomore year was the year, my first year, and it was the year we started the streak of the tournament. And he was reminding me of how that they hadn't made the tournament in the previous 6-7 years before that, and it was a big deal to make the tournament. And he wanted, he reminded me that, we've made it since then, and we will continue to make it. And for you guys to know from California, from where he is that, it's making the tournament back then was nice. It was unexpected, and it was something different. Now it's expected, and he told me that from San Francisco. So we will be back next year. Okay. Like I said, we had a couple. Losing CJ pitching wise really hurt us. Okay. We had other guys step up to do the job who weren't really ready to do it, but once they got their feet under themselves, they were okay. A couple games we had leads, we didn't finish them. We will finish them from now on. Okay. Call up everybody and say a little bit about everybody. First one is Brian Dwyer, who's stepped up as a freshman this year. Started right in the starting lineup, had him hit all over the place. Brian's been a phenomenal baseball player since he was 6 years old. Okay, he's been, competition wasn't really tough for him at younger age. I think this was maybe probably the first year that, playing with kids that are 3 years older than him, that he really had to work hard to get, and by the end of the year, he was putting the ball and playing much better. Came in, played shortstop for us, the toughest position. Did a great job, made some great plays, kept us in games, almost made the tournament. I'm very happy that I got Brian for 3 more years. He's going to be a heck of a baseball player. Brian Next guy isn't here right now, Jay Quinlan, who was with Pete, and he floated back and forth, practiced with us, pitched for us a little bit, played in a couple of games when CJ first got hurt. He's going to be a great member of our team next year, Jay Quinlan. Another sophomore we got here is Matt Whalen. Same thing, he floated back and forth, caught a couple games for us, was in the bullpen for us. He didn't get a lot of varsity at bats, however, he was at practice every day with me, so I consider that being part of the team. He wasn't going to get at bats, and he's too young to just be sitting on the bench, so that's why I had him down with Coach, getting his at bats, and he will be a solid member of our team next year, Matt Whalen. I'll give you guys a pen. Next member of the team here, he came up and we put him at shortstop at first, and it was uncomfortable for him, and he worked his tail off. We made the switch to bringing Brian over to short, which was his natural position. We put Brandon Cawley over at third base. Some of the plays he made there were just incredible. It was like he had played his whole life there, and he hadn't. He learned the position on the fly, came up with some real big hits for us this year, and hopefully maybe next year, maybe we'll get him back on the mound. Brandon Cawley. Okay. Next guy, hurt his arm at the beginning of the season, had a tough time throwing. We used him as a DH, came up with some big hits, big home run, double. Near the end of the year, we just ran into a streak of having lefty pitches, and it made it tough to get TJ in the lineup against the lefty, so he didn't play as much at the end. The last game of the season, we were facing probably the toughest lefty we had, and he had come up with big hits, and his last game, I said, I go, TJ, you tell me what, he goes, I want in the lineup. And he'd get up there, and he battled this guy tough, almost beat out a hit that down the third baseline. But his leadership on the Pete talks about practice. His leadership in practice on the bench, never complaining, especially at the beginning of the year when he couldn't play due to his arm. Glad I have him back for 1 more year, TJ. Next guy here is his first year with the team. I've known him since he was 10 years old. He has a phenomenal arm. Pitched a great game against Spellman that last game. Should have won. Had a couple other tough luck losses too. He has amazing physical skills. We just got to get him to get his head in the game all the time, so that those physical skills, those turn into mental skills. Michael Walsh. Next guy is not here, Justin Weston, who moved into center field halfway through the season. I'll tell you what who was that place? Norwell. Well, I've seen 2 catches that I'll never forget in my life, and that was one of them. Back to home plate in a 1-to-1 game, over the shoulder, something that you see on Sports Center. Willie Mays catch, it really was. Did a great job, came up with some big hits, and I'm glad I have him 1 more year, Justin Weston. Next guy started out a little slowly, asked him to put him in a couple of tough situations. One real tough position I put him in, the pitch came in with the bases loaded and got a strikeout. Pitched another great game against, what am I trying to think of now, that game that, Norwell. You had him tied 1-1 in the 7th inning. One of the other tough games we lost at the end. But he's going to be a major part of our pitching staff next year, and hopefully we get his back going he's gonna help us out offensively too, Dean Gately. Pat Dwyer, played left field for us, put him in the middle of the order. Came up to me, was struggling with the bat one game, he was down near the bottom of the order. And he told me, I'm gonna get 3 hits today, coach, you're gonna move me up and you're not gonna push me down. Again, down in the lineup, which he did. He came up with some great pitching. He came in that Norwell game and got a couple of strikeouts. Gonna count on him, he'll probably be one of the top members of our staff next year, Pat Dwyer. Jack Malafonte plays solid second base this year. I think made 1 error all year. One of the leaders of the team. Struggled a little bit with the bat, came up with some big hits at the end of the year, never stops working. As soon as he stops being so hard on himself, he's going to be a heck of an athlete. Jack Malafonte. A rock behind the plate, Nate Lippman. He came up last year and did a phenomenal job. Just nothing gets by him. He works so hard behind the plate. It's he followed his brother's footsteps, which was very hard, and I have another member of the team that's in the same situation as you. But you've done yourself wonderful. I'm glad I got you one more year behind the plate. Nate Lippman. We had one member of the, as you saw there, that made the Social League All-Star team, and a couple others that should have made it, didn't. Tyler, as in Nate, has tough shoes to follow, and he's also got somebody nagging at him every single day of practice too, which is a little bit tougher than him. We usually go home in the car, we're not talking to each other, but we end up making up by supper time. He had a great year, one of the leaders of the team, and he hit over 400, and I'm glad I got one more year coaching him, Tyler. We have 2 seniors on this team. Timmy O'Connor's been a member of the baseball program for 4 years. Came in, always does his job. A great team member. When he gets his chance, which is at bats weren't as much as I would have liked him to be. Whenever he does, he battles, bat in practice, works. Nobody works harder than Timmy O'Connor. Timmy, good luck next year in school. The last guy in the team has been a starter for me for 4 years. Family friend, I've known him since he was little, and it's been a pleasure to coach him. I hope he continues his career at the next level. The only member of the team from the 2009 state championship. He a pleasure to coach. Works very hard. Was a very good captain this year. A leader. We had that situation at the end of the game, that last game there, and he came in the dugout and he let the team know that this isn't the way Abington baseball players act, and I was very proud of him for that moment. I'm going to miss him, C.J. Suarez. You guys on the varsity will give you pins on your way out. I have a couple coaches awards to give out. The first one goes to Nate Lippman. Like I said, behind the plate, nobody works harder. Nobody's, I think, in my opinion, the best catcher in the league. Nate Lippman. The other coach's award goes to Tyler, who solidified our infield. Maybe 1 error this year at first base. Saved our infielders a lot of errors with his picking the ball out of the dirt. Came up with some big hits, and he's going to be a solid member of the team next year. Tyler. The last award well, first of all, at seniors, we have an award here that's been a tradition at Abington for forever. It's the
Edward Olson.
Ed Olson Award. Goes to the senior baseball player that exemplifies baseball the way it's been. CJ got that during senior night. I'm also going to give him, although it got to show when we struggled at the beginning of the year when we didn't have him, CJ Suarez. And like I said, in conclusion, we'll be back next year. We will not make the tournament again. Thank you all for coming. You guys that can let us come up here and make sure you get it.
Give you guys that staff. I know, I was
Oh, hold on.
the last 3 games.
Anybody else? Any other
I
volunteers?
could have adjusted them for just those 3 games.
CJ, you go? Yeah.
Pitch is on the back. Pitch and staff are on the back.
It's like an inning.